I think it's just a really strong, deep desire within myself to be the best that I can be in whatever field I'm in, and undoubtedly when I was racing motocross, my desire was always to be the best. That first year in 2006 was a big eye-opener for me, competing on the world stage against other girls. I'd spent the previous 10 years racing boys, and to be able to foot it on that world stage and represent New Zealand in the Silver Fern, that was an amazing opportunity for me, and the culmination of sort of 10 years of hard work coming together and bringing that title at the end of the year. It was a fantastic year in my life. From when I was 10 years old to when I was 18 and won that championship, my goal was always to achieve the highest level in my sport, and for that time frame, the World Championship was always my dream. So going there in 2006, I achieved everything that I wanted to within the sport. I think the number one thing for me that I had to really deal with, and again it was a mental thing, was competing against other women. It wasn't the same as competing against other men, as I'd done so for so long in New Zealand. There was really a strong belief within myself that I didn't want to be beaten by any other woman, and it was about overcoming that and treating them as equals, but going out there and really giving it to them as I would with the men. I remained really process oriented, so I knew that in order to win the championship I had to ride the best that I possibly could and think about what the demands of the track were and how I could best prepare for that over the following months. And it wasn't so much a case of how am I going to beat my competitors, but it was more about how I was going to improve myself to perform the best that I possibly could on that next track. And I think that's been a really common theme and focus of my entire career. I can still remember getting the white flag before winning that world title, and it's an amazing feeling. I kept thinking, don't mess it up, you've still got to finish this lap, because I never felt that much emotion inside of me before, and it was actually quite difficult to finish that last lap, knowing that everything I'd worked for in the last 10 years was about to come true. And it was certainly a magical feeling crossing that finish line, and obviously a sense of pure elation, but at the same time a sense of pure relief as well that that all of those years had finally paid off, and what I was capable of I executed and achieved. Moving on to 2007, obviously I had to evaluate if the desire to win was still there, and it was. I've always believed that, and I've always looked up to the riders in our sport, the Evitts, the Carmichaels, those that can go back and win when they know that they're the ones being hunted. And so for me, I knew that I'd have a target on my back going into 27. But it was unquestionable that I wanted to go back and defend my title. And I remember going to Germany in that second year, and I knew that I had the physical capabilities on the track and I had the speed, but in terms of that, that self-belief and being able to control that pressure of the number one plate, I think I didn't realise how much effect that would have on me. Without that support network around you, when you're a couple of thousand kilometres away from your home country and you're feeling like you're outside of your comfort zone, and then all of a sudden things aren't going quite right in training, or you had a bad race, without those people there to reassure you as yep, you're doing the right thing, and you are possible, you're capable of achieving the goals that you want to. There's just no way that you can win a world title on your own, and I know that both of my world titles are as much mine as they are my family's and my sponsors. I went into the final round as second on the overall points table, but I'd spent 4 weeks preparing, so I went over to Europe early and dragged my little brother along, and he was out of school for a few weeks, and he had a bike organised over there, and we went to as many sand tracks as possible, and he chased me around all over the show. When I got there, I mean, the track was rough, it suited my style. I was physically in the best shape of my life, and everything went to plan on that weekend, and it was my title to lose, but I also saw it as my title to win, and at the end of that weekend, yeah, pure relief to win that second title. It was definitely a feeling of relief. I think 2007 was really stressful. I found the whole year really stressful, dealing with that pressure and just trying to win with the #1 plate on my bike was really difficult. So yeah, I think for the first 30 seconds it was definitely pure relief that the year was done and what I'd set out to achieve had been achieved, and after that, then yeah, it was pure happiness that everything, all the hard yards had paid off.
Welcome the 2007 FIM Women's Motocross World Cup winner.
Elle est championne du monde, elle va gagner la Coupe du Monde chez les féminines dans la catégorie évidemment de ce motocross mondial. Voici Katherine.
Katherine Prumm.
I think to be acknowledged at the same ceremony as our male counterparts in the sport was was a huge privilege, and I think when you win the title, you have that elation, you have the emotion, at the particular the final round, but then when you've had sort of 6 weeks pass and you come back to an event like that, and you see the video of all the rounds, and kind of you re-ride the roller coaster of the year that it's been, and I can remember sitting in my seat and feeling the emotion of the year, and the weight of all those hours of training, and it was really something special to be able to go there and to feel that and really reflect backwards on the year and on the achievement. There's nothing quite like motocross. It's the adrenaline rush that you get from being on your bike, and whether it's railing that perfect rut or jumping a new jump. Yeah, there's nothing quite like that feeling in the world. But I love being out there every day, running, cycling, whatever it might be. That's just a big part of me, and always giving the best of me, putting my best foot forward. That's what drives me in life, and it doesn't matter if it's training or in my career. It's who I am, and it's ingrained in me, and I'll always give the best that I can.